Welcome to another video of GHL 101 Likha Workshop, where you learn to skip the click and do the trick. This is Kevin Ray, your IT specialist from OptoGrow. We'll be talking about front end in your sub account. So we've already mentioned two parts of the front end, mostly for emails, but also we need an approach for our leads, which will be done in funnels. In funnels, we can go at the top right where you can see this blue button. Click here, and then you'll have three options. You can click on templates, build with AI, or start from scratch. Starting from scratch, here we can name the funnel already. Let's say um, new client lead, and then create. Not all websites or web pages are necessarily just for the typical website having the details about us and about that, but we can also use funnels as a thank you page after answering a form or a survey. So before we go through there, we can move on to starting a funnel. So to start this, now we have a funnel. There's the funnel named new client lead, and we have the 6 options that we can go to. But before that, let's click on add new step or import. So right now the funnel is empty. We should create some funnel steps. Right here we have new step in funnel. Let's name that step or name that page. Welcome page. We can add a path here if you already have one, and then import from click, funnels, classic, but these are optionals and still beta. So let's start by create funnel step, and then we can proceed to editing. Once you create a step, it will display here in the list of funnel steps, and at this right side, this huge box, you can see that there's a control where you can use an existing template or an existing funnel step, or you can create from blank or start from scratch. You can also click this edit to edit on the same page, or click this um, drop down or drop up. Actually, you can click on edit page details just to edit the details of this page, and then there's another option here, edit in a new tab, meaning you can edit this funnel step on a new tab. In this case, let's do this. Let's edit on the new tab. As this loads, let's go back to the funnel steps list. We have another option here, view page. Clicking this will view whatever the edit that we've already had on this page. So clicking this will um, view the next page or open a new tab viewing the page that we just created. But currently it's blank since we haven't done anything yet. So let's go back again. We have here settings. Clicking settings here will give you the option to rename and change the path naming. So yeah, we can delete page since it's naming welcome page. Yeah, it's very redundant. So update page, and then yeah. Before we start editing again, since we already have this set up on a new tab, let's try to check on stats. Inside stats, you can see the statistics of the page views, opt-ins, sales, and earnings. Of course, these are setups made by GHL itself. We have your sales, almost relevant to the stats, sorry. We also have security, events, and settings. Inside settings, we can rename the whole funnel. We can add the domain if we already have in this email, but since we still don't have an email here, we can't proceed with that, but we can skip that. So let's go back to the steps. Let's keep this page on as we go to the next tab where we can edit the funnel. So right now we have here the funnel editor. Inside the funnel editor, we have a lot of tools that we can meddle with. So first off, let's start with this first pop-up that we already have, the quick add. The quick add is basically all of the things that we really need to add in our funnel or the funnel step. But if we want to choose between these categories, it's the same as quick add. It's just um, mixed on one page. So let's go to this category, sections. In sections, we have 4 options. We have full width, wide, medium, and small. choosing small, meaning we have smaller space. If you want to centralize the text that you have, yeah, we can choose small. If you want the full page to be occupied, then you use full width. And of course, we have rows. In rows, we have columns. Yeah, so I'll explain this further on, but let's move on to elements. So inside elements, here are the important things that we'll be adding inside our funnel. First off, we need the header. The header usually is where the logo is and some of the buttons that we'll be needing, but for now, we just need the logo. So let's try to add an image. So here in elements, we have everything that we need: the text, the forms, the blogs, and the image. So navigate to the image by scrolling down in the category of elements. You'll see the category inside elements, the media, we have image. You can drag this by click left click, hold, and drag it here at the top. So right now we have an image inside our funnel stage. Right now I'll be explaining to you what are the, wait, let me open this again, add elements. What are the sections, rows, columns, and elements? So here's the hierarchy. Sections is the biggest one. Sections are the biggest. Second is the rows. Third are columns. And then lastly are elements. Elements are inside columns. Columns are inside rows, and rows are inside sections. And I hope that made sense because I'll be showing you the colors of the outlines over here. The outline of our current element is orange, meaning this is the occupied space. But the picture that is inside right now is currently just that. That's its default size, meaning even if our element, which is the image element, is bigger, the image still stays as is. To change this, we can navigate to the right sidebar with the name image. We can change its general elements or general settings. We can manipulate the general settings and change the styles and also add animations. In general, we can rename the element itself. So let's say we can rename this as company logo. So as you can see, at the bottom right of the element, there's the name company logo. And then at the top right, I'll be showcasing the navigations of each elements. Here we can drag this to another space. But let's be careful by using this because sometimes you can wreck the whole funnel by just using this drag option and then we'll mess up the whole thing. We can also clone this image and put it to trash. At the far left, we have save asset, the same function in email templates. So saving this will give me the option to use the same element on other funnel stages. We have here open settings. This just opens this part, the right sidebar. And the same as the email template, we can drag this down or up, wherever direction, just up and down actually. But yeah, so this is the element. What's next? We have column. The column is the column has a color of a very light violet or purple. So here we have orange as the element, and then we have here a light purple. The first column, as you can see at the name over here at the far right of this column, or of this outline actually. So what's containing the first column? That would be the first row. So if we hover on outside this, we will see a blue outline, which is the row. All of the rows are colored blue, all of the columns are colored purple, and all of the section, as you can see here at the far right, named section, are green. So what are the significance of section, row, column, and the element? An element can be multiple on one side, just on top of each other. But a column can be multiple on different columns. So if I clone this, then it will have a 2 by 2. If I clone another column, it will have a 2 by 3. But if I clone a row, it will only create a new row and then we'll have 4 by 3. It's all organized or contained in one row. So in this row, it has 3 columns, and each column of this row has 2 elements. So yeah, we can delete this for now. We can also copy or clone the whole section. So cloning this will have the same effect like the row. It will only go down and copy it down. Now that we got that settled, let's try to organize this and design our own header. So I'll be deleting these elements. And as of now, we have a company logo. In this company logo, we can choose an image by navigating back to the sidebar at the right and scroll down, you'll see a link. This link is given by GHL so that you'll have a placeholder for your image. As you can see, you already have an image, but it's not yours. It's provided by GHL. You can delete this and then it will display broken image. Why? Because it doesn't have an alternative text. Unless we add an alternative text, like adding brand logo, then it will display brand logo. If you don't have a URL or a custom value with an image, then you can click here and you'll see the media storage of your GHL or the gallery of your GHL. To use this, we can click an image and then it should display the image inside our funnel. There. Now that we have our company logo, we can change the size by making sure that we still select or our navigation is still selecting this image and then go back to the right sidebar and we can manage the size just by manipulating one of these two, width or height. Currently it's on auto. So if it's on auto, then it's measuring the size that it was given or its birth size or its original size. So over here, I'll be giving it 300 pixels. As you can see, it's still too big to be a logo. So let's try to go halving it, 150. And for me, it looks a bit better than last time. Right now, we still have 3 columns. We can delete this and this. And now we have the logo centralized. We don't need multiple columns to manipulate its position. We can always use the styles option. In the styles option, we can change the alignment from center to left side to right side. We can also use justified for text. But for now, let's put it on the left side. So right now I'm selecting section. I can change the color of the section. How? As I'm selecting this and I'm on the category of styles at the right sidebar, I can scroll down and change its shadow, visibility, even add some custom class, add some border sides, and change its border style. But to add a color, we have to navigate back to general. Once we're in general, you will see at the bottom part of the sidebar that there's color, image, and video. For now, we'll be just changing the color. So to do that, let's navigate here in background color and hover your mouse here at this transparent with the red lining. Click this and you'll have the option or the pop-up of brand colors, global custom colors, and the default colors. The brand colors will depend on what you've implemented in your sub account. The global custom colors is given by the global saved assets, and then the default colors are as is. But as at the same time, of course, you can have your custom colors. By clicking this, you'll have the option to copy a color since that's a droplet. I want to copy the dark color of this one, but maybe this one. And if you're not satisfied at its current state, you can always edit its color. So use this pencil. It's a very small icon. You can also name that color if you want. And then for me, I am using this um, dry dark blue and save. Once I save this, make sure to select this by clicking the color itself and then go back and there. Now you have it. But hey, why isn't it reflecting? To test this, we have to always check if it's blocking something or something is blocking the color itself. So let's try coloring something else. Let's color the column. Since we already have a color, the preset or the recent color that we just used will display on this color selector. So navigate again to the background color and open up the color selector. If it still doesn't display, then maybe we have to refresh this. But as of now, let's try to manually add a color. And as you can see, it already reflected the color that we chose. But let's try to use a different color just so that we can continue on without ruining the design. There we go. So let's say you already chose a color, and for this, as you can see, it did not reflect. So sometimes, yeah, we'll have these kinds of issues, but if ever you're going to be creating your own color, just try to always pick what's available. So right now, this dark blue is available, and this grayish part is available. So as you can see, these are the recent colors that we just created. Okay, so let's try to edit this and put it back into a lighter color. There we go. And this one into a much more dry color. There. So now we have a header. But if you think this still looks thick for you or very wide as a header, we can always manipulate its style. So going back to styles, while selecting one of the assets here, I'm selecting column, we can manipulate the margin and the padding. If you want to lessen the space, you have to subtract on the padding. So currently here in sections, the padding is 20. If I try to subtract this to 15, we'll have 5. As you can see, the section has shortened. Let's try to apply this on top and bottom. Now we have a shorter section, and it looks much more like a header now. So yeah, that's one of the first parts of understanding how to use a funnel editor. Now that we have a header, we can start by adding a text just so we can add the thank you part for this page. And I know this is not a very ideal design for this thank you page that we're trying to make or the welcome page, but yeah, I'm trying to give you guys all the options that you are um, available with. So yeah, let's start with the header. And the header, let's type in thank you for registering. And in elements of text or the text element, you can select the specific text here and then have different fonts, different sizes on PX. You can use another element size and change the color as well. We also have the same color picker here. Have it bold, italic, underline, and the rest of it. At the same time, we can also use AI over here, generate with AI, improve writing, fix spelling, and a lot more. If you can't navigate very well with this hovering or selected text, you can always use the right side, which is the sidebar over here. We have the general, we can name the element again. We can also we can also find a different typography type. If it's a headline, then it should have this kind of typography. Or if it's a content font, then it should have a different approach and custom font. We can add a different font for this specifically. But yeah, other than that, we can also have a customized font weight. So even without the bold registered here or without enabling the bold for this font, we can always use this font weight. We can always go to extra bold or heavy. But for my preference, I want it medium. If you want to merge this text inside this header, it's possible since we have here the drag option. But if you hover on the column, you don't see any drag icon, just the clone and delete on the right side. To use this, you can always have multiple columns, right? In multiple columns, copying this will have another logo over here, now that I've cloned it. But to also use the text over here, I should delete this, and now it's empty. It has a plus sign. And if you can see this dot between these two columns, your mouse has changed its icon, meaning you can manipulate this by dragging this all the way to the left. And then Let's take this text by using the drag option. Hold left click and then drag it atop. And there you go. You have a header with the thank you for registering text. To further understand what we have here in the funnel editor, let's go to the top left. We have here add elements. If ever you already selected one of these elements, this um, sidebar or this pop-up from the left will disappear. But you can always open it again at the top left plus icon named add elements. You can also use some pre-builts. We have here call to action, facts, footer, who, just so to save you the time from editing from scratch, but you don't want to use a template. Yeah. So we also have here save the assets, just in case you've already saved an asset from a different funnel, you can use the saved assets here. Saving an asset has three options: section templates, global sections, and universal sections. The difference is saving an asset in section template means just copy pasting it, literally just copy and paste it. But global section is when you copy this, you can paste it on another funnel. And if you edit that specific element, then the changes from this funnel will also apply to the other funnels that has this specific section, that has this specific element. Now with the universal section, it will always affect changes in all instances, meaning it can have a much more wide section for your sub account. We also have element templates and universal elements. Now, moving on with widget market, these are some third parties that you can use as tools inside your funnel editor. Other than that, Elements has buttons, but it has its own as well. The buttons section here below, we have pre-built buttons. We have the plus sign, the YouTube icon, and some other buttons with designs. Moving on with forms and surveys. Forms and surveys can be created or added accordingly. We have the create. We can create a form from scratch. It will pop up a form here. And then once we click that form, it start creating it from here. So let's say I want to save this form since it's already pre-built. And then you just have to click save. But since we're here, we're talking about forms. Forms inside funnel editor. Usually you can edit your form outside from here. As I've shown earlier, we have forms outside and surveys. So editing here is almost the same as funnels, but instead it's focused on your custom fields. These are custom fields. If you click this and click the settings icon from the right side of this outline, you will see that there are different labels here. We have the label for the first name. Changing this will change the text over here. Changing the placeholder will change the placeholder inside this input. And then changing or adding a short label will give a short label below your input. We have here the key, query key. The query key helps you when you want to use it on customization in CSS or customization in HTML and whatnot. We also have here the field width and required and hidden. The required part is that you cannot proceed to submitting this form without filling up this specific placeholder, specific input. So clicking this will generate or add an asterisk beside the first name or beside the label. After that, you can move on to the next part. Of course, the last name is also required. Since we already have this sidebar on the right open, we can just click required and then it's good to go. Another thing that I've skipped, we have here the label name, and below that we have the label alignment. We can align this by clicking these directions. If you want to align it on top, then it's already here on top. You can align it on the left so that the label is on the left and the input is on the right. Or we can put here vice versa. The label is on the right and the input is on the left. But let's keep it on form default. And as you can see that the GHL preset that was generated over here, the phone is already required. So since in our system or in our latest um, emails and templates that we've created, we did not require any phone. So this is not necessary inside our form. So you can delete it over here. And also, if you want to add other things, on the left side there's a panel here. You can have quick add or add object fields. Adding an object field can have a specific field that you've already created. I will be explaining this on another video. So let's go back to quick add. Quick add is actually another form of elements, the same as the funnel editor. Having quick add also gives you different options like radio, multiple drop, checkbox, multiple line, websites, country, address, and a lot more. Mostly there are presets that are already given for you, but if you want to customize your inputs, you can always create a custom field. Technically, everything over here is custom field, but at the same time, it has its own presets built in inside GHL. If you're wondering what's on the top bar, we have here the mobile view and the desktop view. The mobile view will display, of course, the mobile view when you're viewing this form in your mobile phone. And this is on desktop mode. On the top part, over here, we also have the open load conditional logic. If you want some conditions applied in your form, you can manipulate this like we have here the redirect URL, disqualify lead, display custom message, and show hide fields. If we try to click the redirect the URL, we can have a specific input here, like first name and equals to, and whatever value that we want. If this reaches, and then we have this condition. These are all conditionals, and if you want to have a much more complex approach in your forms, this is where you want to go. But I will not be tackling this further. And right now, we also have on top bar the edit settings, submissions, notifications, and analytics. Inside settings, we can see that we can have a different approach rather than this preset that we already have. After submitting, we can create or we can add here, we appreciate your feedback. So this should be a feedback form, but since this is not a feedback form, we can redirect this in a funnel. So we can use this redirect to URL and paste the funnel link. Where do we find the funnel link? The funnel link can be found over here. But since we still don't have a domain, it won't be displayed here currently. But later on, after we save the form, it will display a go high level link that we can use temporarily so that we can link these forms or these funnels all together. So if we scroll down over here, we also have Facebook Pixel. It ignores this field if you plan to use the form survey inside a funnel. But if you want to use it on Pixel ID or you need a Pixel ID to display this on a different platform, yes, you can also do that. You have Facebook Pixel events and form settings. In form settings, you have save exit information, generate submission document, sticky contact. Generate submission document means automatically create a printable PDF for your submission. Sticky contact is that if you have the same device and you already submitted a form and you are required to add your personal details again, the sticky contact will help you autofill those details without redoing all of them. Meaning you or the system will remember the things that you've already inputted. We have here create conversation on submission. This is automatically creating a conversation thread when this form is submitted, allowing you to follow up via email, SMS, or other channels from the conversation tab. We also have an enable time zone, just so that if you have a specified yes or no or filling up a detail related to any time zone, then this is the one for you. And then use GDPR compliant font. We also have submissions. So if a contact or a lead already submitted their form using this form, then you'll have records over here. Also notifications. If you want to receive notifications, you can switch this up and then you'll have the subject here, email to, reply to email, and sender name. Sender name, you can leave it blank. But at the same time, of course, this will be sent by GHL and notified to you. It's like internal notification that, hey, this lead already submitted their form for you. But let's turn this off for now since we already have an internal notification. And then we have here autoresponder. Autoresponder is that if you check this, there's an automatic responder that will be sending to these emails. So if you don't have an automated responder on your workflow, you can send a response over here. It says here, send an automated email to the person who submits the form. Email includes a copy of your information they entered in the form. Meaning, after they submit this, they will receive whatever they responded from this form. Kind of like how Google Forms function. And now we also have analytics, the last part. Analytics is like same as the submissions, but instead it has the analysis or rather the results after the time being of your submissions in your form. So let's say a month already passed by or a week, then this analytics will show you the analysis of your form, how active it has been, how many views it had, how many responses, average time in completion, and completion rate. So we can save this, but before that, let's try to name this form to register and then save. After you have created your form, we have it here right now. But since this form is not the form that we'll be using, or not the form that we intended to use in this page, since this is like the thank you for registration, we might as well change this. Or maybe we can change the funnel itself since it's already named welcome page. So yeah, we can remove this and then, or maybe edit this as um, register to our program. And there you have it. You have a page, welcome page, where you can register to a specific program. How do we link this? So right now we already have this form. If you want to re-edit again, you can click this edit form or click this to edit it on another tab. But I don't want to open another tab, so I'm clicking this one. And as you can see, it still has the name. But currently it still has form 36 since we haven't refreshed this nor have we saved it. So if you want to save your progress, of course, please click save at the top right. We've already discussed almost 70% on funnel editor. So let's try to skim it down. Let's go back to the plus icon in add elements. And as you can see, we have here social media icons as well. If you want to add this on the bottom part, just so you can have a footer with your socials, you can drag it here and you'll have it displayed over here. Clicking on this element, you'll have a new set of, or a new sidebar over here named social icons. In social icons, you can edit the links that is linked in these icons displayed at the bottom part of your page. So clicking on the pencil, you'll have here the link. You can specify the link. If you have a Facebook link, you can paste it here, the Facebook link of your group chat or your group page. And then you can also change its approach if you want the user to click this and then open a new window or use the current window that they're in. Next part, we also have countdown timers. Currently, there are no countdown timers here, so let's try to move on for now. We also have images. These images are the same as the image, but this time it has frames and presets on how it's portrayed inside. And lastly, we also have the progress bar. The progress bar is very functional, but at the same time, you have to manipulate its inside. So, for example, we drag this here and we can change its size or percentage depending on how you manage its if and else or manage its progression. So, if you click this one, you can change its percentage. So, let's say it's 10%. And then on the next page, you will make it 20%. So it's not technically creating a system inside your funnel, but instead it's just the design that makes it progressive or functional. So for now, let's remove this and then we can save this funnel. If we go back to the um, funnel stages, we can refresh this and you will see the update of how it looks outside. Now you can see that there's a look or a preview over here. If you want to check it out in another page, you can click this view page. This will display in a new tab. And after it loads, there we go. We have our register page or welcome page. Now let's go back to the editor. Since we still have a few things that are left untold, we have here the layers. It's almost the same from email templates, but instead it can be changed and manipulated by clicking a specific section. Once you click one of these parts, it will select the outline and you will see which part is being selected. You can also drop it down just to see the rest of the things that it's selected. There we go. Now you must be wondering, what's this pop-up? It's nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing to be selected to. So let's move on from layers and let's see these pages. I'll talk about pop-up later on when we pass it by. So in pages, we can see that there's only one page. It will reflect over here in the funnel steps. If we add a new step here, then the stages will have not just one but two. depending if you want to add another page. You can also add a page over here just by clicking add new page. Now we also have tracking code. Tracking code is for the header tracking and the footer tracking. This is more on the editing part. We also have the custom CSS, same as what was shown earlier, but this time you use specifically CSS. To show you this, you can click a specific element, and if you want to manipulate whatever is inside this element, you can go scroll down to styles, and you will see that there's a CSS selector, and it has a specific ID. Using this, you can copy that and then paste it to your custom CSS and have your way on your CSS customization. But of course, let's try to simplify this and not use custom CSS for now. Next part is typography. As I've shown earlier in the text, we can change the typography from custom to content to headline. Currently, in our typography settings, we have the headline as inter and content as inter as well. That's why when we click content and headline, it did not change. So if we want to change the content, we can change it by choosing another font, and now it should display a different font. If we use content, then it changed. If we use headline, then it changes again. But let's go back to custom and apply the same one as I chose earlier. And then we now have here the background. In the background, we can change the background color. If your sections doesn't have any colors or selected images or implemented images, then this will work for you. You can also click this and then you will have your media storage or the gallery of your sub account, and you can choose an image that you want to display. And for now, let's keep it white. And you can also change the background color. Changing this will change the rest of the page that is not edited yet. Now let's go to pop-up settings. As earlier that I've said, in layers, there's a pop-up, but there's nothing there. Actually, there is, but it won't display since you don't have anything in there yet. So click pop-up and you can click this edit icon or the pencil icon. Um, I guess it doesn't work directly. So you just have to click this button, create new pop-up, and then you have to add an element. Clicking this will give you these options again in the add element. Adding an element is quite simple. It's the same as forms or literally just editing a funnel. But yeah, this pop-up will depend if you want to add some ads or a form pop-up. You can also create a functionality to your button that when your button is clicked, this pop-up will show. But for now, we'll not be using this. Next part is SEO and AI search optimization. Editing this will, of course, edit the preview of when your page is being searched online. So the preview will be shown over here. You can change the content. The content is the description that will be displayed in the preview. You can also change the title. At the same time, you can go to the keywords, whether you add a specific keyword. When I search cool in Google, then this website should appear. But of course, to optimize your keywords or searching engine, try to use as plenty words as possible. You can also add the author. It will also display in the preview when you search a specific website. You can also add an image, links, specific language, and schema markup. Now, we also have the preview custom codes. Clicking the preview custom codes actually shows, and we also have cookie consent. In cookie consent, we can enable this and it will display a specific banner and it will allow you to um, collect cookies. Some really requires this, and it's best to have this as well. Just make sure that you're setting this up while understanding what it's used for. Now you can also use two column mode or auto. In auto, this will have this set up while you're editing, but in two column mode, you will have this part open. Now, moving forward, I've already discussed all of the parts on the left side. On the right side, we also have keyboard shortcuts. Same as before that I've shown. If you are curious what are the shortcuts that you can use while editing in this funnel editor, just navigate through here. You can also see the versions that you've already created. So just click here and you can, oops, okay. You can um, read back to the versions that you've already done. But of course, make sure to save. Once it's saved, then it should show you the versions that it had before. Now going back to the funnel editor, we have a few less buttons now and some status of our funnel editor. Right now is it has the latest updated version. Last update is July 15, which is today at 7 a.m. And you can click autosave if you want. You can also preview your page by clicking this eye icon or just this um, link that's below your funnel page name. You can also view on mobile mode if you want, just clicking this mobile mode and scroll down, and there you go. And if you want to switch from one page to another, you can always click over here rather than the pages on this left side, and also add a new page as well over here. Then lastly, we have publish. Publishing this will make this functional and searchable in the search engine, depending if you already added a domain for your page. And that's about it for funnels. Since we already created one funnel, I'll be creating the rest of the funnels and showing you how it looks like when you have multiple funnels. And that will be all for this video. Thanks for watching.